What is up, YouTube? Dots Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you guys another leveling guide for the Elder Scrolls Online. I have not released a leveling guide on my channel in a while, and when I say leveling, I don't mean a leveling build. I mean like a experience grind guide, best way to gain experience guide, stuff like that. I released one early last year, but the best spots have changed a bit since then, in my opinion, for grinding experience. But a lot of my advice, though, has still stayed the same, but nevertheless, I want to update this guide. Again, I do want to apologize for the echo. Hopefully, this should be the last video with echo in it. I am going to be working on this weekend, basically kind of soundproofing the area that I'm in, but unfortunately, that has to wait to this weekend, and I wanted to get this video out, so I am sorry for the echo, but hopefully the background music should filter out some of that noise. Anyway, moving right into it, I still think the best way to level as a new player is questing. I still recommend questing, doing dungeons, and exploring the world as your method of leveling. I don't recommend grinding as a new player. I think you're seriously shortchanging your experience in the game, and I do think you're going to eventually come to regret it, because I think you're going to understand a lot less about your character and about the game and how to really play if you just power level and power grind your first character. Now, if it's your second character, third character, whatever, then yeah, go ahead and power grind that character and power level that character. But as a newer player, I think the best way to do it is still to just go quest, do at least your daily dungeon, your daily random dungeon, because that will give you bonus experience. As you can see here, if I do my random daily dungeon, I get bonuses that applies for veteran and normal. You get the same bonuses regardless of which you choose to do. Obviously, as a new player, you're going to be choosing to do the random normal dungeon. So make sure you do one of those per day, as well as just, do your quests and explore the world. You will gain experience at a good rate. It's not going to be horribly slow. You're going to get to enjoy the world that Zos has created, and you're also going to learn your class and how to really play it in time. Now, if you are a brand new player and you need a leveling build, please check the description below. I have non-traditional leveling builds that you can follow to really learn how to play your character, learn what abilities you can experiment with and what different stuff that you can try. It isn't a static leveling progression like some other people create. I preferred something a little bit more dynamic, so it is something that you could follow as a way to level up your character. Now, that is the non-grinding path. Now, maybe you've decided, Dots Gaming, I want to take the grinding path. This is my second character, or I don't care about what you think about questing. I want to take the grinding path. Now, I'm going to go over the 3 things you need to do when you do the grinding path, and then I'm also going to go over the grinding spots. So, of course, the first thing you need to do when you decide that you want to grind is you need to grind experience and pick an area. So I'm actually going to go over the areas now. The 5 areas that I recommend the most are Spellscar, Al'Akir Dolmens, the Al'Akir Zombie area, Forgotten Wastes, and Skyreach. Now, Spellscar, in my opinion, is the current best method for gaining experience. Open world experience is better than instanced experience, so that is why Spellscar is generally more beneficial than something like Skyreach. If you have no one else leeching the mobs from you, it is a fantastic area to grind mobs. The best way optimally to do it, and optimally to gain any experience at any time, is to be in a party of 2 and to have full training gear on if you can, but at the very least, make sure to be in a party of 2. ESO Plus also helps, the Ring of Mara also helps, and experience potions are all different ways to make sure that experience gain is raised as much as you physically can. So grinding through Spellscar is, in my opinion, the best spot to do it in at the current moment. But not far behind it is the Forgotten Wastes in Vardenfell. So if you have Morrowind, this is an area that is going to be really, really good for you. So as you can see here on the map, this is where the Forgotten Wastes public dungeon is. And the public dungeon has 2 distinct areas that you can really choose to grind through. There's the area kind of like up top, and then there's the area within like the caves and the tunnels within. The tunnels within, in my opinion, are the best. Once you go through the tunnels, you're going to be in this area that has a crap ton of Telvanni wizards. You can just literally run up and down that area. The respawn rate is really, really fast, and you can just grind those mobs for a long time, and you will gain plenty of experience. Another spot that you can go to is the Alakir zombie area. So you can basically run between this spot and the spot across the bridge, and you can just gather up all the zombies and grind them. I'm not a big fan of this area in particular because it oftentimes is very crowded, but if you can find it at a time where it's not crowded, it is a really, really good spot, and I generally recommend it. And, you know, as you can see, here is where it is on the map. So that is just another place that you can look to. The next place that I'm going to recommend is, of course, Skyreach. Skyreach is still an awesome area. If all of the open world areas are really crowded and overpopulated, this is where Skyreach, in my opinion, becomes the best path. Because Skyreach is instanced, you are guaranteed that experience. Nobody's going to be leeching off your experience. When someone who is not in your group attacks mobs, the experience gain is significantly diminished, which is why I don't understand why players group up in these big ball groups to grind areas, because you are significantly diminishing your experience. Even when you get into a party of bigger sizes, once you're in a party of greater than 2, the experience that you begin to gain goes down. So you're better off grinding by yourself or with one other person if you're going for optimal experience gain. But nevertheless, like I said, when these areas do become really populated, Skyreach becomes good because you're guaranteed the mobs, you're guaranteed the tags, and people won't be leeching the experience. So grab one person. I recommend doing this in a group of 2. It makes it significantly easier. And just hop in here and run around this first floor, as you can see, and just kill those mobs. Then what you do is you drop group with your friend, then you re-invite them, you'll get ported out of the dungeon, you walk back in, and you'll be good to go. If you decided to grind by yourself, all you have to do is walk out of Skyreach, go into your group pane, change the dungeon difficulty to veteran, back to normal, and that will reset the dungeon so you can go back in and continue grinding your mobs. Now, the final area that I'm going to recommend is Alakir dolmens. Now, dolmens are by no means the best way of gaining experience. They're not bad, but they are definitely the lowest on my list. And I think that a lot of newer players especially get trapped in the whole, like, I'm just gonna grind dolmens all day. You're shortchanging your experience in game, in my opinion, if you just decide to grind dolmens all day. The only time I'd ever recommend grinding dolmens is if you cannot find a friend to play with and you have like non-combat skills that you want to level up. Like for me, at one point on my stand blade, I had like a lot of I had like heals and fear and like not damaging skills or area of effect skills that I need to be leveled up, and none of the friends that I normally grind with were online. So I just kind of like AFK ran around at dolmens and was able to farm those for some decent experience. But if you have friends online that want to play, you're better off going to another spot. And also, joining those huge groups, as far as I know, short changes your experience gain. Once the group goes over 2 players, you end up losing experience as you add more and more people to the group. I'm like not 100% sure on that, but I'm like 90% sure that that is how it works. So you're better off either grinding by yourself. Best way is with 2, but 2 or more, you're just shortchanging your experience. So again, Alakir dolmens, definitely the lowest on my list here, but you're better off going with other areas. Now, after you grind your experience and your experience is all set to go, you're probably like, all right, so I am champion point leveled and I have no skill points. I have no, like I'm out of skill points. I don't have any sky shards. If you're a Magicka, I have no lore books. What do I do? The best thing to do, in my opinion, once you reach level 50 is start running around and collecting sky shards. This will really, really, really up the amount of skill points your character has access to, and it's going to make playing that freshly grinded character much, obviously much easier because you'll have more skill points to work with. After that, once you do your sky shards, try to get as many sky shards as you possibly can before you get too bored of it. And then if you're a Magicka character, switch to the lore book grind and start grinding through the lore books. Now, do keep in mind, you're better off going area by area. When you complete a certain lore book collection, you get a boost of experience to your Mage's Guild skill line. So that is why it's better off to go zone by zone by zone instead of just like randomly picking up lore books, because you'll complete collections and thus boost your Mage's Guild experience by a good amount for just completing that collection. Now, if you're a stamina character and you need to level up the Fighter's Guild, you're better off just finding any area with zombies or Daedra, whether or not that actually be dolmens. That could be useful for dolmens. I'm pretty sure you can level it up at Skyreach. Any place with zombies or Daedra would be where you want to level up the Fighter's Guild. And if odds are, if you chose one of these leveling methods, like these grind spots, odds are your Fighter's Guild's getting up there anyway. So as you can see, if you do choose to do the grind method, you have to do multiple grinds. It's not as simple as just, oh, I got to level 50, that's it. You have to grind your experience, you have to grind your sky shards, and then grind your either Fighter's Guild and or Mage's Guild. Now, another thing that I would definitely recommend doing if you just choose to hard grind your character is do all of the dungeons. Individually do all of the dungeons. Now, the reason I recommend individually doing all of the dungeons is because of the fact that, you gain a skill point every time you do the quests within these dungeons. So it's definitely worth taking the time to do these dungeons. I also would very, very much recommend doing the main quest. The main quest grants a lot of experience and a skill point for every single time you complete a quest from the main skill line, and it levels up your soul magic line. So regardless of whether or not you choose the questing route or the grinding route, that is definitely something I'd recommend doing as soon as you can, because it's going to give your character so much added power, and it's going to make them a lot stronger, you know, just due to the fact that you're gaining a lot of experience of each of those quests, and you're gaining a skill point every single time you complete a quest. But that is pretty much it for me, guys. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover today. So to recap, we covered that I think questing and doing your random dungeon is the best way to level as a new player. In order to optimize your experience gain, you want to be in a party of 2. You want to possibly be wearing Ring of Mara, have ESO+, have a XP pot going, and be in training gear. If you do choose to do a grind area, I recommend Spellscar, Forgotten Wastes, the Alcure Zombie area, Skyreach, or the Alcure Dolmens. And then finally, if you do choose to grind area, do not forget that you also need to grind up Sky Shards, Lore Books, and or Fighter's Guild. And also do the main quest line. Definitely something really beneficial for you to do. And try to do all of the dungeons in the game at least once to get the quest to beat the dungeon, thus giving you another skill point to have access to on your character. But that is it for me today, guys. If you guys like this guide, if you guys like the info that I have with this guide, I'd appreciate if you hit thumbs up. And for more content like this, more great streams, and just more great content here on the Dots Gaming YouTube channel, I would appreciate if you hit that sub button, as well as hit the bell to make sure that you have notifications on, so you're always up to date with what I'm doing here on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. As always, I'm Dots Gaming, and I'll see you all in the next one.